you've noticed, we are members of the 3rd Regiment United States Colored Troops Civil War Reenactment. And it's our job to tell the stories about what our ancestors have done. We found, after review, that if we don't get out and tell these stories, that they will not be told.
Do you see the uniform that the soldiers wore back then was all wool. Wool pants, wool jacket. These are all, this is all wool. The cap, you also. But the cap's a carryover from the War of 1812. Because the cap originally was higher and had stays in it. So they could put stays out and dropped it down. Okay, and these are not the way. Additionally, the shoes. Leather uppers, leather bottoms, brogans. No left, no right, no arm. There's a piece of leather. So you can put the left on the right or the right on the left. Didn't matter. And if you think about it, that made sense. Because soldiers marched a lot. And sometimes if someone died, was killed in combat, or was wounded, they took your shoes. Even that movie Glory, when they successfully took the fort for the first time, because they did eventually take the fort, but the scene you see is that the mass grave, and what do the soldiers not have on? They don't have their shoes on. Because the Southern Army at that time needed shoes, so they took their shoes.
What is Juneteenth and what does it mean to you? Well, believe it or not, your great-great-grandfathers fought during the Civil War. And while they were fighting, they would spread the word of freedom from town to town, city to city, house to house, plantation to plantation. As a matter of fact, that is the flag that we were carrying, that 35-star flag. A lot of times people say, oh, I don't like that flag. Maybe you don't know the full flag story. Door to door, house to house, the flag of freedom. 13 stars? No. 25 stars? No. 50 stars? Kinda. But that one was the actual flag of freedom. Our group, we go to schools, parades, Juneteenth, African American History Month. Whenever we have the opportunity to tell our stories, we do. And that's what happened. 11 regiments came out of Camp William Penn at Cheltenham to go and fight in the Civil War.
9-pound musket. All right.
This was the actual the slug.
Well, this was the slug, but it wasn't loaded like, it was loaded with a cartridge. In this cartridge was powder and water. So you had to rip it open, dump the powder down the barrel, push the water, and push this down also, using the ramming rod. Then half-cock
so the ramming rod is this right here.
It's
That's
right there.
attached. Okay,
Right.
bang. Okay,
Then you
got
would
it.
half-cock it back,
Got it.
go into a pouch, put a fire cap on the nipple, full cock it back, then release.
One round?
A good soldier could do that in three times in a minute.
They were there when the Confederacy surrendered their weapons at the Appomattox Courthouse. They were standing there as the Confederates laid down their arms. After that, they were transported from Virginia to Texas. We're going to tell everybody in Texas that the war was over and you were free. Because they said free, what do you mean by that? What's free? That means you get paid when you work and you don't have to do nothing you don't want to. And you go where you want to go. You know what they said? We're out, we're gone. So many of our ancestors walked from places like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia back to where they came from, Virginia and Maryland. They didn't know where it was. They didn't know how to get there. Some of them, it took 10 years to walk that 3,000 miles, but they came back home. That's one of the big rumors that I want to fight against every day, that we don't care about our families, that we don't love our families. I can document that we care about our families. We walk 5,000 miles to get back to our families. So they can stop that lie right there.
The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personnel rights and rights of property between the former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freedmen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages.
So, when we got Juneteenth, the war ended, and then a whole new world came out of it. Black politicians, black teachers, black chefs, a lieutenant governor in Louisiana, senators in North Carolina, South Carolina. Everybody remembers Robert Smalls, the guy who stole the vote? Well, normally when a black guy steals a vote, guess what happens? You hang him. Robert Smalls, Lincoln said, oh no, he's a hero. And it got confusing, right? They didn't want to pay him what the vote was on, so it wasn't no straight up good thing. But Robert Smalls went on from stealing himself, stealing his family, stealing the vote, to go on to be the Lieutenant General of the South Carolina Militia, and ultimately a representative in the House of Representatives. So this is the kind of story that comes out of Juneteenth. These are the stories that are hidden from us, maybe not even hidden, because we have to take the time to read on our own. If we wait for somebody, we are blessed to have you, sir, but if we wait normally for somebody to come and interview us and tell us about our story, it does not happen. So people like you are a blessing. People like WURD, they are a blessing because they have the information, they're willing to pass it on to us so that we can realize that we are the heroes. We are the ones who define freedom, not the zeros that they present every 6 o'clock at night. They find the worst people they can find every night at 6 to put us on and say, yeah, that's them. And we know that there's 100,000 people in West Philly, and somehow they only got it all centered down to 50 bad people. That's really not us. That's really not our story. Finally, what happened? We were in government. We were taking over. We set up the public schools, set up the public hospitals, set up the public waterworks. These things did not exist in the South until we, the black and tan governments, took over. When does it end? 1877, when Rutherford B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden joined together in Chicago. Tilden says, Hayes, if you take the Union troops out of the South, you can have a public service, and we get the South, and the Africans get kicked out of government. There was a decade or two of complete terrorism. Did I say it? I did. Complete terrorism. House to house shooting, killing, raping, pillaging, hanging, lynching. Now, the young people say, if y'all had done this 30 years ago, we wouldn't have to do it now. I say, baby, you have to read your books. We called it the anti-lynching movement, and it was 100 years ago. We've been doing this for all time. Don't think that you the new people, only doing something, because we always been doing it. From the time of the Civil War to this day right here. So once again, I want to salute you, sir, and your new television station, and please pass the word about who we really are. My name is Joseph Beckton. I'm a member of the 3rd Regiment, United States Colored Troops Civil War Reenactment. It's our job to tell the story of how our ancestors helped to define freedom. The AMP station is really, really on top of it out here at the Juneteenth celebration, recording what's going on so that we can be heard in future generations. We thank you at AMP, and we thank y'all for being of interest.